Hey guys, it's Cynthia and I'm back with my eBay experiment update. Looking at my overview page, you know, it looks pretty good and I forget about this. As you should know, I run a bigger store that we've been running for many years. That is our main store where we sell pop culture items. And over there, if I only got one or two sales a day, I would be very upset. So um, I kind of get used to that and forget that these smaller numbers are pretty cool on a smaller store. So if you look here, you can see in the last 31 days, I've made $100, $112, let's get it all, 99 cents on this store. Now, this is a clothing only store. It's an experiment I'm trying. And I only have, at any one time, I probably only ever had about 10, maybe 10 things listed, 10 to 12 things listed at a time. So, considering that I have had one, because I have one a day, one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 sales on only about 10 or 12 items listed, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, isn't it? But it isn't all good. I run into some issues along the way. Let me switch. Let's talk about the sales and things first, and then we will back up to my problems. So, here's what's happening on my solds. I actually had 8 sales. The most recent sale was this Travis Mathew Braille golf shirt. The shirt has a Braille design on it. It's quite beautiful. And I did take a best offer. I want to say it was about 24. Not too bad off of that. I remember he just took me down a few dollars. And considering there wasn't another one like it, I was really guessing at the price anyway. I was happy to see that go to a good home. This one was kind of funny. So this was a Calvin Klein jeans logo sweatshirt. I wanted $44 for it. I had somebody come in and come in like I think like at $10 originally, and I said no because it's quite a heavy sweatshirt and it was going to cost about $8 to ship it. And every couple of days, the person would come back with another offer, and then I counter offered, and they came back from the counter and the counter. And I don't usually see that happen. It does on occasion. Generally, I find people either they're going to take your counter offer or they're not. A couple people come back twice. I think this guy came back 3 or 4 times. And finally, really just out of the perseverance of the person, I decided to just go ahead and sell it. I think I sold it for about 20. So with the shipping, there wasn't a lot left on it, but honestly, again, I probably paid about 50 cents for the item or a dollar. I don't even know because again, it came in a big bundle of items I got. So it's hard to really say what I paid for it. Um, and I hope they're extremely happy with it after all that back and forth. And then this was kind of a real fun bonus. I think you guys, if you watch my other video, I showed this Nick and Nora pajama top and told you that you should always buy Nick and Nora. And I remember saying in that one that this Milkbone top isn't one of the most popular tops, which you think it might be with the dogs on it, but it's quite common. You do see a lot of them. It's not one of the real high-end ones that sells. You can see I only got $13 for it plus shipping. But I say only 13. There were so many listed that I honestly thought this thing was going to stay up for months, well into winter because it's a heavy flannel shirt before it would sell. And it actually sold, I think within, I want to say 24 or 48 hours. I think it sold the day I listed it. Um, so at $12.99 with $4.50 shipping, I paid up a little bit on this one. I think I probably paid $3 on this because I did buy this um, from a store. I don't think I didn't get this at a estate, so I think I got this at a store. So that was kind of fun. I have another Nick and Nora. I do need to do another clothing haul for you guys. I have a Nick and Nora one piece. Never say onesie on eBay. If you don't know that, that is a trademark term and you will get slapped for it. It is a footy pajama for an adult, really cute. I have that to go up. So Nick and Nora still rules. And I might have showed you this on my last roundup. I sold this Ralph Lauren lamb's wool beanie hat. I sold it for only $5. It was $2.50 to ship it. It was quite small. Again, it's one of those items I thought because it was Ralph Lauren it would have a higher value, but it didn't. You could buy this new for about 15. So I was happy to just take the 5 and just move it and get some points on this store because I think when you're starting out, it's really important to flip a lot of items just to show eBay that um, you're working at it, that you're listing, you're selling, you're sending things out. This person gave me very nice feedback, and that really helps, especially when you're new. If you're very new, This store of mine is attached. eBay has a way where you sort of say, I have another store, which is proof that I'm already a good eBay seller, so don't restrict me on this one. But I know if you're completely new, like my son was when he started, they will restrict you to you can only list a certain number of things at any given time until you have feedback that proves that you are a good seller. Your money will get held on PayPal. It's definitely not like it was when I started out. There are lots of restrictions to make sure that people don't come in fly by night, try to open a store, and then um, scam people or just realize they got in over their heads. So it is important to take these small ones. I did not lose money on this hat. I maybe made 50 cents, which with my time and labor, okay, in that case, I guess I lost money. But if you think about buying advertising, what advertising costs, I'm buying advertising and buying good wishes by selling that for less money and getting the people in and increasing my store sales and my feedback. So if you think of it that way, think of it as the same thing you'd throw money on a Facebook ad. It's totally worth it. So those are my sales this week. So that was the 10th, that was the 12th. So I had two on the 12th and then the one on the 14th. Really nice considering I don't have that much listed. Let's look at what I have listed. So now I have 27 items. I've been working a little harder to get more items up and expanding a little bit. I got a huge lot of scarves, which I did show in my haul video, and I'm starting to list those. This iMagnon yellow scarf. This Eddie Bauer Elkhorn shirt, I think I had up before, but I changed the price on it, so it bumped up in my listing. Ralph Lauren red silk scarf, which again, Ralph Lauren, you'd think it'd be worth a lot more. There's so much Ralph Lauren out there. I think I'm going to be lucky to pull this 19 on it. Um, but yeah, this is my favorite. I know I showed this to you guys in a haul. This is the Cero vintage shirt. I have another one of these in blue. I cannot find another one like it. I did find some Cero shirts that did sell in this range, so I'm going to try this range, start out kind of high, and see what happens. If I start to get some offers, I always have best offer. Fast and free helps out. If I don't start to see some movement or some interest on this, I will start to bring the price down in another couple of days because again, I'm guessing on the price point. This is old. I lowered the price again because it's been around. I think as we get closer to the holidays, this might go. And then I stretched a little bit for some ties. And you know what's weird? Okay, very weird. Okay, this is strange. You know what? Let me see if instead of best match, this is what I should have done. Newly listed. There we go. That's better. So this is what I just listed today. This is a set of 3 purple scarves. These were no-name scarves. They didn't have any kind of information. They're mostly in very good shape, and I just put them together as a lot because they were all purple, and out they go. Same here. This Princess Cruises scarf does have some value, but this one has some holes in it, so I compared it with this Silk Boat scarf. Again, similar items. I'm sure somebody who likes this would like this, and they will put that one up. There's the iMagnon, the that. And then something a little different, I tried a couple of ties. I don't normally do ties. I do watch Casey the Rockstar Flipper, and he sells lots of ties. So I got a really good deal on them. Again, I have no idea what I paid. I got them in a lot with a bunch of other items. So, I mean, you could say I paid 50 cents by the count of items, but if you figure I paid more for some items and less for other items, I probably paid a quarter for them. So I've got a Luigi Manzoni silk tie. There's a lot of this designer listed and no sale, so I'm not sure what that's about. I love this Jeffrey Bean blue and silver tie. The color on it is amazing. But Jeffrey Bean isn't as good a seller either. However, I've got $4.75 shipping on them. If this tie only sells for $5, my shipping is well covered. My fees are pretty much covered there, and I'll still make $1 or $2 profit on it, which I'm happy with on this store. Not happy with that on my other store, but I'll take it on here. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. See this? See this background? How I took this tie, this nice dark background that it's popping. This is a black sweatshirt that I had in my car that I bought. It's actually an Oscars Academy Award sweatshirt. And I had some time to kill, and I thought, you know what? I could photograph those ties. I was outside, beautiful outside sunlight. I laid that black sweatshirt out in the back of my car and shot pictures of some ties, and I think they look real nice on here. Probably better than they'd look if I shot them in my house where my lighting is not so good. So those, and then this is an equestrian scarf. This one I put on auction because the tag is missing as to what the brand is, but I saw a lot of this style go for some good money in the right brands and bet no money in other brands. So I thought rather than guess at whether or not this is a really good design, I put it on auction and we'll see how that goes. Plus, auctions are good for your store. eBay likes to promote auctions and it will help you. Um, People who sort by like ending soon um, will then your auction will pop up there because obviously it has an actual end date, not a 30-day, good till canceled, which is what I normally do. So that's what's happening in the store. But let's talk about some issues. So this week, collecting my thoughts here. This week I started to second guess my concept of running this second store because a couple of things happened that really hit home now that I've started to ramp up a little bit more. I did try in the past, I have tried to run two stores and I've never been very successful at it. But what I ran into a lot before was the fact that either I was trying to niche it with something I didn't have enough of, or I was trying to niche too close to our normal store and I couldn't justify putting things on the lower store where I don't save on fees and all that because I'm top rated seller on our Boris Basement store, so I get a discount in fees and all that. So I'm paying more to sell something on the eBay experiment store, which is called New Jersey to LA. It's my life story, NJ to LA, than I would on the other store. So I have to really think it through. But the biggest issue I ran into as I got into this is the eBay app. I love the eBay app. We use it particularly while we're out and about. We like to respond right away to people who make offers because that's the best time. Catch them right away while they're still interested. If you wait a day or two to respond to an offer, they'll have moved on. A lot of people they'll found another one. They've changed their mind. You got to catch them while they're thinking about it. So if you don't use the eBay app, excuse me, what it does is it will notify you with a sound and a notification when you get a sale, when you get a payment, when you get a message, you get an offer. Or pretty much you can have it off a lot of things. That's what I have it do. So if I'm out and about and I hear the ding, I can grab my phone and see that it's an offer. I can respond right away. The downside is you can only be obviously logged into one eBay account at a time. So I use my phone to photograph for my experiment store, which means I'm logged into the experiment store. So, for example, today I went grocery shopping and I went to check my phone thinking it's funny we hadn't had any activity on our store, only to realize I wasn't logged in to my Boris Basement store, my main store. So, in this case, it didn't matter. There were no offers or anything to worry about, but it was annoying that I thought, oh, all this time, like I'm on the wrong store. So, on my computer, in order to have to not keep logging in, logging out, which is a pain, I keep my experiment store on Firefox and I keep my normal store, Boris Basement store, main store on Internet Explorer. And that makes it easy to pop back and forth and see what's going on. Messages for my experiment store come to me in my email, so I get notifications if I'm sitting at my computer right away, if somebody's making offers or all that. But you can guess what happened this week. I was listing and listing and realized I was listing the wrong items on the wrong store. So I had gotten my stores confused because I'm dumb. This is somewhat my own fault. Both of my stores in the top left-hand corner of your eBay account page, it says hello, whatever your name is. And both of my accounts say hello, Cynthia. Um, and I could save myself a lot of trouble if I change my name on one of them because I don't automatically know which one I'm in by looking at that corner because it's the same for both. So I really need to change one. I should change one to my husband's name. So what ended up happening is I spent a bunch of time listing toys on my clothing store and accidentally listing clothing I needed in the clothing store on the pop culture store. And it's not horrible to cut and paste. You can fix it fairly quickly. because I catch it before it's listed, because it's when I go to photograph it that I realize I've got it in the wrong slot. But it's annoying and it's time consuming, to make mistakes and have to fix them. So this login situation is annoying, but it's not a experiment killer, but it definitely makes me have to be more careful. I always want to default to my main store and keep that one going because I don't want to sacrifice any customer service there to run this experimental store. So this is the one that I can come in a little slower if I need to. Now, talk about sacrificing one for the other is where we get the other problem. Oh, too many options. So this is what really hit home for me this week. I went to this estate sale that I showed you guys a lot of stuff that I got from this sale. The vintage clothes, that Zero paisley shirt came from there and a bunch of other things. It was a very small house with a lot of things, a lot of collectibles, which is what I normally buy. There was a very small closet, but a walk-in closet that had all the clothes in the house were in the one closet. Now, normally, before I opened my experiment store, I would go to an estate sale and head straight for all the collectibles. That's where I would go. I would pick all those things, spend my money, all of that. On the second or third day, last day usually, I'd go through the closets and see if there, whatever was left over, picked through already, but there's always a few gems left, and then get a really good deal on whatever was left for, in my case for the original store, some t-shirts or some really special items. Now, once I decided to try this experiment with clothes, my mindset changed. I started to get excited about looking at the clothing and seeing, oh, like I haven't really done this before. How much clothing can I get for very little? You see these guys that go to the bins, like look at Nicole State. I love to watch Nicole. She goes to the bins up in Portland and only pays 99 cents a pound and comes home with huge bags of really nice clothing for very little money. Well, our bins are $2.50 a pound. So it's not quite the same deal. However, these estate sales, and as I've said before, we are surrounded by some very high-end homes in Orange County, and a lot of these houses have some very, very nice designer clothes that end up going for quite cheap at the end. I don't know why people aren't buying them. Maybe, again, most of the resellers that show up at these things are not clothing people, or they're just really looking for the best pick. They're buying up the jeans and things that I don't normally buy. So I got off track. So this particular case, the first day I picked up a bunch of clothing, $2-3 a piece we were paying, and they were not bargaining. But $3 for a shirt, if I can flip it for 14 or more, that's not bad. But mostly, again, I was enamored with the idea. So on the last day of the sale, I went back thinking I'm going to fill a bag with stuff and walk out for probably, $5-10 for 20 or pieces or more. But this was not the case, but I didn't know it because I didn't know this estate sale company. I kind of know who does what and who doesn't. I went straight to the closet and I spent a good amount of not just time, but my mental space, my um, battery left on my phone, my tolerance for the warm and the crazy and the noise, all of this, and my strength because I'm carrying it all. I went through the closet and picked, I don't know, 10 or 15 pieces. And then one of the estate sale people said, can I take that out, start a pile on the whole table? I was like, sure. And then I picked like another 10 or 15 pieces. And those I put in the bag I was carrying. And right there already I started thinking, I didn't want to spend more than $20, $30 that day. And I already had so many pieces in hand. Now, the tags had been marked down to say they were $2. But I didn't know, was that the half price, because it was half price day. So was $2 already the half price, or was it going to be less than that? I don't know. It was confusing. But I figured even if it was $1 a piece, I could get 20 items for my 20 bucks. Worst case scenario. Which is fabulous because there was some very nice vintage men's clothing. Was there anything jumping up and down, oh my God, this is fantastic. No, but good, solid stuff that probably would flip for, again, like I said, $15 or more. And then so I finished with that and I walked out into the house and the line to check out was huge. So I started sort of said, well, I'll just wander around some more and look at a few more things. And I found a pack of slides from Disneyland from the 1960s. Ooh. I found a rack of old Disneyland records in excellent condition. Ooh. So, I couldn't buy them. They were way expensive. Disneyland Christmas ornaments, and then other Christmas ornaments, and then paper ephemera that I know will sell. And I started, dinosaurs from the British Museum. I started to find all this stuff and realize this is the stuff I would have picked up before I opened this other store. Now, if I had all the money in the world and all the patience in the world, I could have bought all of it. And it would have been a good deal. No question, it would have been a good deal. And I would have been able to flip 90% of it for at least double, if not triple, my money. But what I realized was, because I didn't have all the money in the world, I was sacrificing, or time to list it all. Let's think about that too. I was sacrificing, I was taking the $1 shirt that might sell for 14, but then I have to ship it, so say $10. I make, when I could be buying the $1 dinosaur that will sell for $25. And also the stuff that makes our main store popular, that makes people keep coming back because we have this cool vintage stuff. And that's when I thought, oops, I have maybe messed myself up. If I start sacrificing our main store in order to build up this clothing store, that's not good. It's not good. And again, if I had all the money all the time, I had employees, I had all these things, I would have bought it all and I could have kept both stores running. But I don't. I've got limited budget. I've got limited time for listing. It's just me and my husband working on this. And so I have to make choices. And I realized that one of the reasons I liked buying clothing on the last day of other sales is I didn't have a lot of choices. I had whatever was left over. You take out whatever's really wrecked and no good or low end, and you have what's left. And then, I throw it all in a bag and the guy sells it to me for $5. And if half of that doesn't sell, it's no big deal. It's $5. But here, I went in line, I get up to the register, and she's ringing up my stuff, and I'm already at $30, not including any of the clothes. I'm already at $30, which I still am thinking isn't right. I still came away going, I don't like when they do that. I like when they sort of say, here's the whole price. This is what, and that, but this was every item they were checking, each item individually, and then ringing it up so that by the time I got to the end, kind of like the grocery store, by the time I got to the end, it was sort of either buy it all or don't. There was no like, okay, I want to take something out because now you've got this big long line of people behind you, and it was crazy. And then if I had added all the clothes in, that would have been at least another 20 some dollars, which in hindsight, if I hadn't been feeling pressured, there was like a puffy vest that I definitely should have bought for like $1. But I guess I was kind of surprised that with the quantity of stuff I bought, that they were going to count each item still and charge each item. Not that they don't have a right to earn, to make what they, want to make. But usually by the last day, they don't want to take that kind of time. It's just bulk buy, $20 for everything, yes or no. And by doing it the way they did it, the line was so long that I just thought, like, I can't stand here. Like, these people will lynch me if I say, well, hang on, I need to go through my clothes and decide what I want and don't want and all this. It was too much. And I have to say, part of the reason I got into the problem was I didn't have prices on a lot of things I brought up. I bought several cassette and 8-track, like those briefcase type cases that hold 8-tracks and cassettes, but they had no prices on them. So I didn't know how much I was going to spend till I got up there. And ended up leaving all the clothes behind. I just said, forget it. I just don't even give me the clothes. I took everything else. Now, we've already sold items I bought. This was just last weekend. So just 2-3 days ago, we already sold the dinosaurs. I think we already sold something else from that listing. So I'm doing okay, but I now am feeling remorseful that I left behind clothes that I probably could have flipped. So I've rambled on a long time to say this. Didn't realize how long I've been rambling. I rambled on a long time to say that if you're trying to run two different stores, it's very tricky to balance this where you spend the money and where you spend the time. And I think there are advantages to having a second store. I think there's definitely an advantage to running clothes only because I think that people are more likely to buy from you. eBay is more likely to put you higher up in the search, and they're more likely to buy multiple items from you than when you have like I've got one jacket and everything else I sell are records. Um, but you can't sacrifice your main store for this. So where I'm at right now is I have a lot of clothes that I bought. I say a lot. I'm probably talking about 50 items, and not like some people mean a lot. I'm definitely going to list them. I'm definitely going to keep moving forward. But I'm seriously considering changing this niche already. I know I just started this, but I'm already starting to feel like the clothing is starting to bog me down. And part of it is just that I'm not a clothing person. I only chose this niche because everybody keeps saying clothing, clothing, clothing. And I do get excited about vintage clothing. I do like it when I find it. But what I'm picking up I'm not picking up 1950s party dresses. I'm not picking up actual, 1930s Hollywood looking gowns or anything. I'm picking up stuff 70s, 80s. That's when I say vintage. And it's not that I don't enjoy it, but I definitely feel like I've already in just a few weeks gone strayed too far from what made me start eBay in the first place, which was the fact that I love collectibles and pop culture, and that's the kind of thing I wanted to share and sell and buy and enjoy for a while until it sells and all that. And so in the meantime, I've got a big stack of clothes that is still in my car. I've never done this before. It's been, what is it, 3 days, and I have not even taken the bags out of the car because I cannot, I'm overwhelmed at the moment with the idea of listing all that stuff. I've never really been a big death pile person, and I have become a death pile person. So that's where I'm at. So that's my update for the week. My update for the week is the store's doing well considering how little is in it. I had some good sales. I have some good did some good sourcing. I've got good things ready to list. I'm listing not completely consistently, but pretty well, and it's all going fine. Do I want to continue down this road? I'm not sure. I have a thought, and I think when I hit the estate sales things this week, I might start gradually making a switch to something a little bit smaller. I was inspired again by Rockstar Flipper. He's been doing videos on niche stores, and it's really fascinating how stores that sell one small object like postcards, nothing but rubber stamps, nothing but Disney pins, are selling items that only come with maybe $1 or two profit, but they're so small, they're so fast, they're so easy that that profit adds up to like $5,000 a month, um, which is where I'd like to be. Yeah, at least. So the brain's ticking. The brain's ticking. Anyway, that's my update. If you are interested in sticking around for more, hey, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and ask your questions. Please do. Leave your questions in the comments. Tell me what you've been up to. Do you have more than one eBay store? No one's told me that. I'd love to hear from somebody else who runs more than one store and how you juggle that and keep everything in balance. That's it for this week. I will be back next week with an update on my eBay experiment, and hopefully in between, I will be on with a haul of all those clothes that are still in my trunk. And then after I sign off this tonight, I'm going to see Casablanca on the big screen. I do love Fathom events. It's a Turner Classic Movie Fathom event night, and I'm going to be enjoying Casablanca. So I hope you have a great night too. I will see you in a couple of days.